Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 10 most important teams that I think everybody should acquire in Galactic Heroes as of late 2025. I've done a couple videos like this before, 2024 and 2023. Each video is going to have some teams that are not quite as important anymore, so we're going to be showing which ones are off of this list, just like I did last year for the 2023 list. There are some Galactic Legends in here. The main thing I'm trying to stay away from is Conquest units because they're just so hard to acquire. They take such a long time. But let me know if you think I should start more incorporating Conquest teams into this list because there are some great ones like a Queen Amidala team, a Terra Malicos team, all kinds of stuff. So let me know what you think. But without further ado, let's show who's off from last year. And there they are. We got some staple beginner teams: Phoenix, Troopers, then we got Qui-Gon Jinn, and Bad Batch. So right away, I'm probably going to get some confusion because I am a huge advocate of starting out with Phoenix, getting a couple of assault battles done. Troopers is also a great option to get 2 of those different assault battles done in their entirety, and they're very strong at it. However, the reason I'm taking them off this list is because I don't think everyone has to have them. I think beginning players absolutely still need to start with Phoenix. But if you took a route where you got the Rebel Assault Battle done, you have a great Night Sister team, and you're getting things done, you don't necessarily need to add a Phoenix, because I don't even really use my Phoenix on my main account or to my small account anymore. It really gets you through the beginning game, so it's kind of back to where it started. Captain Rex is extremely valuable when you use him everywhere, and I can't stand up. I still think this is the way to go. But that beginning game is really protracted now. It takes a lot shorter time to get to level 85, so you don't need them ferrying you all that way as much. And Imperial Troopers is just kind of like the same thought. Like, they're the 2 quintessential beginner teams that can get a lot done for you, and I still think they're decent. It's just they really fall off in the end game, and even on my small account, I'm not really using them as much anymore, and that's like a 5 million account that's currently in Chromium. So I can't say absolutely everyone needs these teams. Qui-Gon Jinn, I think, this is a great team. It starts out strong early, but it contains, the best version of the team contains a character that's potentially the most difficult character in the game to acquire for free. If you don't get a Ki-Adi Bloody Speed bundle, you're going to have to join a guild that does light side Geonosis TB, and then has a really good General Skywalker team, and then they can run that TB for a long time. Or you buy him with a ton of Guild Event 3 tokens. It's just not feasible. And then Qui-Gon is a team I don't really use that much in the end game, and if you don't have Ki-Adi Mundi, it's hard not to allocate the rest of his team somewhere else. General Kenobi and Ahsoka are going to a JMK team if you get them. Jedi Knight Anakin can go other places. You could run a Padme team that's going to be viable in all game modes, not just Grand Arena. So, Qui-Gon Omi early is valuable, but I'm not going to say everyone needs to have it. And then Bad Batch, I toyed with the idea of keeping them on the list because the Marauder is so important, but that's really an argument for a ship, not for the whole team. I love my Bad Batch on my small account. On my main account, I don't really use them anymore, so these are just a bunch of teams I don't really use or have utility from on my main account. And in the case of Bad Batch, this is like a full Chirotech team. So if you're going to choose to develop them and you already have a good fleet, say you have Executor, you don't absolutely need a Bad Batch team. You can use those Chirotechs on another full team. So those are the 4 that are out from the last year's list. So that will keep 6 from that prior list. And I'm not going to go over all 6 of these in any particular order, but I am going to start with Leia because she is the best Galactic Legend. I think she's relatively easy-ish to acquire. There's only 1 Relic H needs. That's R2-D2. You can run her right away with the characters you unlock. So that's this team here, R2-D2. All these are characters required for unlock. Yes, a lot of people like to do the Amaratus and Jinn team. If they farm Profundity, they usually have that. But if you didn't, you still are well off with just the unlock characters. And it's not just Grand Arena, although in Grand Arena this team single-handedly propelled me to a Rhodium way earlier than I should have, at around 5 million and 2 Galactic Legends, just because people don't know how to beat it. And it's not just PvP or even classic PvE modes like Conquest and TB, although she is automatic in those, incredibly good. She carries me through almost every galactic challenge. If there's any feat that I need stealth, I got it. Even if it's like dots and I need to beat the last tier, I'll put Darth Vader on this team and I can get the dots and then I can survive through just because they're so good. And you don't even need to run at the wheel. They can auto almost everything. You beat every single proving grounds in the game 3-star with them. There might be one or two that I had difficulty. I had to play a couple times. But just the value of this team is off the charts. And it blows my mind how many players have multiple Galactic Legends and none of the and Leia isn't one of them. So if you're going to go for a Galactic Legend, go for this one as your first one. It's insanely valuable. The only one that I think is just like top-notch across the board in every single game mode. Not to mention, Leia does not require a conquest unit to be up and running. Same thing with Jabba. And while Jabba is quite good as a GL, he's not as all-encompassing of a value as Leia. Like, Leia is better across the board in actually fighting things. However, what makes Jabba mandatory for everybody to have is his Smuggler's Run 2 event. It is invaluable for working on mods. You get, like, for each time it runs, and it runs 3 times a month pretty consistently. It's crazy frequent. You get enough to slice up 2 6-dot mods per run, and then that's 6 per month. And then a lot of those slicing mats to go just that first slice level once you get to 6 dots. And then the calibration materials, extra mods, just so valuable. And then in territory battle, you got a dedicated mission every planet up through the middle. So as long as you want to take the team up to R8 like I do have here, is going to do wonders for you and your guild. I do have Boba Fett shown here. You know, at the end game, you want Embo, but Boba Fett is an unlocked character for him, so, and it's quite good. It's barely a step down from Embo in a lot of cases, unless you do TW and you have the Embo Omicron. But you're ready to use the team right out of the box, which you cannot say for every Galactic Legend, which is just sad. Just quite good, quite valuable. Conquest, GC, everything. Such a good team, really valuable resource-wise. The third team I'm keeping from last year and the year before is the CLS team. So CLS, I don't use as often on my main account in Grand Arena anymore, I'll admit. But it is a super valuable team for any player coming up through Conquest and hoping to do hard Conquest. They can carry you through hard Conquest. You just need some kind of data disk setup. And the reason it's not like, oh, just there's one specific setup. There's so many setups that can work for you. The best being, you know, Ruthless Swiftness, or the Weak Spot build up, or Amplify Agony. With Volatile Accelerator, they do tons of damage, and what makes them so valuable is they have perfect initiative with Han Solo taking the turn first. And both of the Chewbacca's assisting, and then C-3PO assisting because there's a basic. It's a very good swarm team. And even in Grand Arena, you know, it just needs a little boost to make it relevant. Right now, as of September 2025, and for the next few months, we have this Rolocron that makes them all assist whenever, and they can even take on a Leia team. So just need little bits of boost to make them super valuable. And like, what I can't say for them is that they're going to be valuable all the time up through the end game, but most players aren't in the super end game, so they're quite a value commodity in Conquest, and they're really good for they can get through Military Might Challenge Tier 3. So that's part of the why they can stay on this list and Phoenix doesn't. You know, Phoenix is great, but CLS can get it done, and you can go without Phoenix if you've already got past that beginning part of the game. And our fourth team is going to transition into the fifth team to talk about, and that is the Palpatine team. So I think Palpatine is extremely valuable because even though it might be difficult in a lot of ways, you can 3-star both Challenge Tier 3s for Places of Power and Forest Moon, allowing you to skip Troopers. It is harder though, I'll admit. I do have videos on both of them. And the comps vary. So for Forest Moon, I was able to 3-star it with this comp: Thrawn, Piet, Mara Jade, and Vader. on my small account, and I did it with a Gear 12 Thrawn, but Relics would help a lot. So this is before you get Starkiller. You can use a team like this in a lot of areas of the game. You don't have to have Piet for like Grand Arena purposes, because he goes with his troopers most of the time. But you can. He's a good fit there. And then for the place of power, I was able to get it done with this team. And Darth Revan Bastila, yes, they're an entire new farm, but they're actually in one of the teams I'm going to be featuring later on this list. And then Nihilus as well is going to tie into team number 5. But you're able to do it without Malak or Supreme Leader Kylo. It is difficult though. Malak definitely makes it easy. And if you just swap in Malak here, that's fine. But a Palpatine lead team, very valuable. And then when you get Starkiller, you run an entirely new team, but it's still under the umbrella of a Palpatine team. So that's why I'm just keeping Emperor Palpatine as a super valuable team everyone should have. And the latest form of which is the Starkiller team. This can beat Rey for you pretty consistently, especially if you're not in like high Kyber. It can beat like a JML team. It's got potential for Java, although that's harder. This is kind of the standard lineup. Old Ben's in there because he just does fulfill that Jedi tank role, and the turn meter reduction is really nice. But if you have General Kenobi in there or something, it's great because he is a better tank. And then if you want to have Juhani, you kind of need the Omicron for that to work, and I do have that TW Omicron that makes the team really work in TW for you. And then Visas is really baked into Starkiller's kit for the revives and everything. And that really ties into team number 5, which is a Traya team. But I have realized Vader kind of belongs on a Traya team long term. You don't need to farm Scion. So this is where the advice is more for all players. Endgame players, you know, if you've been playing the game for years, you had Scion for a long time. Like, Scion used to be core to the team. Traya, Nihilus, and Scion, that's what it was. But Savage came in, filled that kind of tank role, even though he's not a tank, he's an attacker. But in Grand Arena, he fulfills that role. He's taking the hits. And Scion, you know, he's got his buff to spell and his revive and everything. It's all right, but you don't actually have to build him up from scratch. Talon's nice because the only time you want to kick Vader off the Palpatine team is once you farm Starkiller, and to farm Starkiller, you're going to have Talon. So Nihilus and Traya are core identity, same as Savage for Grand Arena. But Vader is amazing on this team. He does so much damage, way more damage than he ever did on a Palpatine team. And he just operates different. It's not turn meter train. You want to start with Merciless Massacre, but he goes around the board and he hits hard. All those basics, and especially when he throws his saber, are doing a lot of damage. So he kind of brings a, you know, straight up damage approach to the team that's not always there. Traya can hit hard, but Nihilus doesn't really at all. Talon can if you mod her well. And Savage, yeah, he can get up there too, but really, previously it was all about getting to the Annihilate, but Vader really adds some teeth to this team and gives it new life, and it's been such a fun use for the team on my small account, learning this in like Chromium and Erodium. Once I got Starkiller, I thought Vader would get the boot, but I think it's fantastic on Traya, especially since Lord Vader uses all his clones now. Yeah, anyway, that is team number 5. Team number 6 is technically kind of a holdover from the last time I did this video, but instead of showing kind of a classic Jedi Revan team where you have Bastila and Jolie, I think the way to go, and I've learned this from playing my small account Go Tanks up through the beginning game, it's just like a Jedi Revan lead, Jedi Luke, and Mace as a core team that can take out a lot of stuff. I've routinely taken out Jedi Master Luke, Supreme Leader Kylo, as long as I don't know how well it does against Darkside Rey, like no Darkside Rey Kron. I've only faced Darkside Rey Kron recently, but if they don't have Darkside Rey, or maybe even if they do and she doesn't have a ton of Omicrons, this team really kicks butt. If you do face Supreme Leader Kylo, though, you can't have Yoda because he's going to be Supreme Leader Kylo is going to be honed in on Yoda, but you do want a second Galactic Republic character for Mace to swap turns with. So if you're facing Supreme Leader Kylo, you want the double tank here, and he's going to poke Revan. But if you face Jedi Master Luke, even if it's the exact same comp, sub out Revan for Jedi Master Luke, I can beat the team. As long as they're not super well modded, which is, you know, is a huge caveat. Because if you're endgame, I don't know many endgame players that don't have Jedi Master Luke, and Jedi Master Luke is great. I mean, he's a Galactic Legend. But you don't have to farm that Galactic Legend to get the best use out of your Jedi. With Jedi Knight Luke, you get the Mass Stun, Mace Windu is going to swap turns, Jedi Revan's going to swap turns, it's great, and then if you farm Cal, he slots really well onto the team too. I just do think Grandmaster Yoda is a great fit there because of the buff spread, and it's got some turn removal that's clutch in some ways. I even beat a Rey team with this. I don't have Cal on that small account, but I beat Rey with this team. It was difficult, but I beat it, and it wasn't, a super optimal Rey team. But it's very versatile. And then if you want to talk assault battles, you just throw Jedi Knight Luke in the lead. Revan is fine too, and you could use, Hoth is actually great there. Instead of Jedi Revan, it's potential you could use Jedi Anakin. Just because in that challenge tier 3 for the assault battle, they do hit really hard and they're really fast, and you need Luke to take his first turn and nerf their speed, which you want to go for 0 speed just for that assault battle, by the way. Like, normally you'll want some speed on him because if he's playing second fiddle with someone else and not in the lead. But Anakin will interrupt and get a turn, and you're off to the races. You don't have to have Revan for that assault battle. But like a Jedi Revan, Jedi Luke team, just a strong, non-GL Jedi even, is a staple I think everyone should have. Now, for Team 7, I'm kind of hedging around one of my, not rules, but guidelines. I'm trying to stay away from Conquest units as much as I can. But Malgus has been a Conquest unit for a long time, so a lot of players have had the chance to farm him up in Proving Ground, so I'm really speaking to those players that may have unlocked him and didn't really care about it. And the reason Malgus is making an appearance after I had Darth Revan a couple years ago featured in this list is because the Leviathan is such an all-important team, and it's all about the Malgus team. Like, everything about it is the Malgus team backing it up. So, unlike me excluding Bad Batch just because Marauder itself wasn't enough, it is like the whole fleet. I mean, you got Fury-class Interceptor, which is to start... I need to move myself out of the way to show that. A Fury-class Interceptor, which is part of the starting lineup, and the core team. You got Capital Ship Leader... Malik's not there, but then Marauder is starting with the Bomber. And then some other non-Sith Empire Sith characters make up a lot of the rest. But then Sith Assassin, you'd have to farm for to unlock it. It's a strong team. It's not just for Fleet, but Fleet is probably the most compelling thing. Leviathan has been the best fleet in the game for over 2 years now, and there's no signs of a new capital ship to take over. And even when they buff Profundity, the meta prior to Leviathan, they buffed Leviathan just to make sure that Profundity doesn't step on its toes. So it is seeming to be like the eternal Fleet meta right now. And even aside from Fleet, this team in Grand Arena is kind of a Swiss Army knife to take out any kind of annoying team that relies on turn meter, healing, any kind of A tier, not quite S tier non-Galactic Legend team. It seems like Malgus is an answer for. You got Reva, you got Great Mothers. It can be an answer for. Just a really strong team across the board. It's very difficult to acquire all of this together. You got a Conquest unit. Darth Revan's a legendary, although he's pretty easy to unlock. Darth Malik is an epic confrontation that requires a lot of get one. So it's difficult to get it all together, but it's very much worth it. I think everyone absolutely needs to prioritize having a good Malgus team. Team number 7, and new to the list this year, pretty new. I don't even know if the team was fully out at the time I actually released last year's video on this. It was Great Mothers. So this is probably the best team in the game that doesn't require any legendaries. It's all marquee or old farmable characters, and all of them are now accelerated. So Great Mothers just got accelerated pretty recently, and there's really no reason to not go for this team for anybody, unless if you're building up either fundamentals in a lot of other ways. You might not want to go for them, and they do require a lot of counter attack. So if you have a lot of these older staple teams that I just showed that are good for assault battles, like Palpatine and CLS, that don't require all this counter attack, you go for those first. But this is such a valuable team. You can take down Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano with it, which is a Galactic Legend that lacks a lot of off-meta counters at the lower end of the game without your own GLs. But this can take it down. So Spirit is the flex slot in there. So the core is Morgan. And then 3v3, it's, you know, Great Mothers, Morgan, and attacker like Spirit. So Spirit will usually be in there, or Mirren. But in 5v5, you usually want Night Trooper and Death Trooper. Pretty tons of damage, tons of flexibility. I have a whole video talking about this team. It's very complex, but they do lots of damage. They have lots of healing. They got lots of little turn meter boosts. And they can... It's just like a cheat code. I mean, kind of the same value the CLS team has going first. You have with Great Mothers, not exactly the same because they don't damage right away, but Great Mothers takes her turn right away, doom someone, then she blesses someone. And as long as you're able to come in a decent matter of time after that, you can get off to the races. I mean, if your Morgan's fast enough, you can call a mass assist with this, and really, you might kill someone right away, and then they're dead, and you doom someone else. So I think this is an extremely valuable team. And if you just alter it a little bit, I think... I'm not entirely sure because I haven't gotten to try it yet on my small account. I think as long as you just add zombie or something as the 5th, it's going to be an easy 3-star on that assault battle, Secrets and Shadows challenge tier 3. So I can't really advise like a Thousand Night Sister team anymore, but Great Mothers, oh, for sure, they're going to be valuable for a long time. And then if you're facing a team that has a lot of debuffs, Mirren is kind of a good option there. It does add an extra Grand Arena Omicron to the team and another Kyrotech character, but very valuable overall. And this unlocks a special mission on Dathomir and TB, and you're going to get some extra guild event currency of 2 or 3, I forget which one. And Great Mothers is actually one of the characters I have a TW Omicron on. She's got 2 fantastic ones, and it's extremely potent even in the end game. So this is a very accessible team. I think absolutely everyone needs to pick up. I want to correct myself from the beginning. I think I probably corrected it on screen, but that was Team 8, not Team 7 for Great Mothers. Team 9 is a bit of a flexible team, and I only see 3 characters on the board, and I've showed them at other points in this video. But it's a Padawan Obi-Wan Conquest team. So I don't have this Omicron on my main account, but I am always tempted to apply it because it makes things so easy for you in Conquest. On my small account, it is easier to do Conquest in a lot of ways than my main account. Even though my main account qualifies for all these feats, this Omicron is next level. Tons of extra max health, max protection. You take bonus turns. Whenever an enemy ends their turn, there's a chance for that. Always recovers 75% health, 7% 5% offense for 2 turns. They inflict almost every generic debuff under the sun. You get almost every generic buff under the sun. It is an automatic team to just run through Conquest. And this is my team of choice for it. So Jedi Knight, Luke lead, Anakin. So you got some interruption there. Obi-Wan's going to take bonus turns with his Omicron all the time. And this is a uniquely Conquest team that I'm talking about. Anakin, if you start getting hurt, he's going to take his bonus turn so he can interrupt. And whoever gets to take their turn, as long as they're Jedi, you can do Jedi Knight Luke's lead ability and then nerf the speed of the enemy. Even if you don't have Luke modded for like low speed, like 262, that's a very fast Jedi Knight Luke. That's still slowing them down a lot because in Conquest they have these broken speeds. And this team you can throw in any old character. You can throw in the weakest character in the game. It actually would take me a long time to get the bottom characters of the game. But you throw in anyone and pretty much survive with them. Like if it says win with Cup and Tebow, you can probably get it done. You can probably get it done with them surviving as long as you just have, maybe some entrenched. What's great for this team is Voluntary Vanguard, and it puts the taunt on Jedi Knight Luke most of the time. And you can carry it as beating any team. So that's my recommendation for it, is these 3 are the core. Tebow looks kind of scary. But yeah, this is a uniquely Conquest team, but you won't regret it if you get it. It's easy street for Conquest. And then the last team I'm going to feature that's new for this year, and I was debating Balin because a lot of the same rules apply here. It's Bo-Katan Mandalore. So what's super valuable about this character, I mean, they're all accelerated. Just to unlock her, you have basically your whole team there. So you need Paz, IG-12, and Bam at Relic 7 to unlock her, and then Keller and Beck. Just kind of a random there. But you do that, you have basically the whole team in 3v3. you run Bo-Katan, Paz, and IG-12 or Grogu. Or instead of Paz, you can run Bam in some comps. And then the 5th, usually want Bo-Katan, Kryze, OG Bo. I do think she's a Kyrotech character, but she makes it so valuable in 5v5. You could throw an armor, I guess, but Bo is really what's recommended. And why I recommend her for everybody is she's not that hard to get with just 4 characters of Relic 7, 3 of them feeding into her team. She can beat a Lord Vader team. It's dicey against the Lord Vader clones, especially in the high end of the game, unless she has like some real Datacron support. But for most players, I think probably Kyber 4 and below, you're still going to be able to do fine as long as they're not modded super well. Like if you have a roster that has Bo-Katan on it, but you don't have tons of GLs, you don't even have Jedi Master Luke, you don't have your own Lord Vader or JMK, it's way easier to just pick up a Bo-Katan team to beat that than something else. And you also have a chance against a JMK team. Now, it's not super reliable. You're going to have someone come back, and it's not a guaranteed stomp like Balin versus JMK is. But why I think Balin's probably like 11 on this list. But why I don't have Balin is it's a little bit harder to farm. It's 5 characters instead of 4 to unlock. It's more hit or miss in TW, I think. I don't know. But he's not really beating multiple Galactic Legends, or doesn't have potential for multiple. I think this probably could beat like a JML team potentially in like a lower league. I'm going to be going for this relatively soon. Like it's on my agenda for my small account, Go Tanks. She does like Omicrons, but at least it's not a Conquest unit. She's a lot easier to get than a unit that requires you to hit Proving Grounds for a year and a half after you finally get 4 million GP. So I think Bo-Katan is just at the top of the journey guide. Like if you go over the journey guide for the teams I've been talking about, I mean, I have Focused Jedi Luke and Malix in the list of teams as well. But I'm on the top tier. I do think she edges out Balin for value as I'm thinking about it. Now, what you have for as an argument for Balin is you farm Great Mothers to get him, and that's its own team, so that might be there as well. So let me know what you think. Am I mixing up the value of Balin and Bo-Katan there? And they all outstrip, you know, Jar Jar, Mace, Grand Inquisitor, Afra, all that. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for this list. The 10 most important teams I think everyone should go for in this game as of late 2025. Happy to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.